Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So we have a pretty weird series of events that's currently unfolding. It started early this morning, now it's starting to trickle into the afternoon here about star defensive end from Oregon, Kayvon Thibodeaux. And he could very well be in play for the Jets at spot number 4. We're looking at KT right now at 6'4", 255 pounds, 21 years old, just ran a 4.58 at the 40 back at the combine, just a couple of weeks ago here. Kayvon brings a lot to a defense, the explosiveness, the versatility, the tremendously high upside. There's a lot to like with Kayvon, but again, circling back to the start of this video, there's been some pretty strange storylines that have really came up and surfaced today, and to kind of put it into context here, today is the Oregon Pro Day. So hours before this Pro Day has even began, Matt Miller of ESPN put out an article talking about how Kayvon Thibodeaux's stock is falling. It's falling pretty hard, okay? Now, the big takeaway from Miller's article here, I'll actually just read it word for word, quote unquote, the Lions or the Texans could take Thibodeaux at 2 or 3, but the word from sources in the league is that Thibodeaux is expected to be drafted outside of the top 5 picks and could even be selected outside of the top 10. He highlights 3 main bullet points on why Kayvon could drop. The first is production. Thibodeaux didn't show quickness and burst expected on his way to 7 sacks and 12 tackles for loss. Good numbers, but not those expected of a player deemed a front runner for the number 1 pick. Beyond those numbers, scouts and front office execs with whom I've spoken with praise his talent, but consistently question his motor. Lack of fire is not the type of label prospects want. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. He just rattled them off. 12 tackles for loss, 7 sacks in 10 games. That's pretty good, okay? And specifically outlining the fact that, he's mentioning the lack of fire thing, and we've heard that throughout the course of this offseason. KT doesn't have that fire that other teammates have. He doesn't have enough fire as, other defensive ends across the country. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeaux was a unanimous All-American in 2021. Put up those good numbers. He was first team Pac-12, both in 2020 and 2021. So, I mean, you could flip it. You could look at it through a different lens and say, okay, well, let's assume that Thibodeaux is not playing with enough fire, right? Enough energy. He's not giving it 100%, and he is still dominating the Pac-12. At 20 years old. Okay, again, Kayvon came into Eugene as the number 1 high school prospect, number 1 high school player in the country. He did not disappoint. He started as a true freshman. Okay, put up great numbers and actually won Pac-12 Defensive Freshman of the Year. We look at that 2019 season, 35 total tackles, 9 sacks, 14 tackles for loss. 2020 was not some down year. I mean, in the sack department it was, but he was actually the Morris Trophy winner. We just talked about it before. He was also first team Pac-12 in 2020. So, the production argument, I just feel personally, I don't feel like it holds a lot of weight. I mean, I stayed up late. I mean, Pac-12, Mountain West, those conferences are awesome because, you get home late on a Saturday night. It's 12:30. You could pop on one of these late games and it's midway through the 3rd quarter. It's amazing. So I watched a lot of Kayvon Thibodeaux last season. And the season before that and the season before that. I mean, from what I saw from Thibodeaux, at times he actually played with a big-time motor, hawking down the quarterback, hawking down running backs and the ball carrier. It was a lot of fun to watch. Now, the second point that Miller highlighted here are the interviews. And to kind of summarize this, in again, word for word here, at the end of it, the word consistently used to describe his interviews is poor. That's a red flag, especially for teams looking to use a premium pick. I can't comment. I really can't comment on that. I don't know Thibodeaux personally. I wish I did. That'd be cool, but I don't. Really, all I can go off of here are interviews, and he doesn't really seem like he's like a locker room cancer. He doesn't really seem like he would be a detriment to the team. That he would point the finger, deflect the blame, anything like that. But again, I mean, maybe if you link it to the lack of fire argument, maybe you could try to push the Jay Cutler narrative. But I just, again, I don't know Kayvon, so I can't really say if he has, if he has interviewed well, if he hasn't interviewed well. So it is what it is on this one. I just don't know. And then the third point is injury. Thibodeaux sprained his ankle in September, an injury that takes time to heal. One scout charged with evaluating Thibodeaux, however, thought that he was timid after the injury and said that those within the Oregon program agreed. Interesting here, an ankle injury back in September, so right around the season is, starting, right, kicking up. Whenever you're dealing with an ankle injury, it's always tough for a defensive end, guys that have to bend and, try to speed by tackles, bull rush through tackles. You got to put moves on guys, and you got to be quick on your feet. You can't be stuck in the mud, especially in this day and age with all the misdirection, with all of the mobile quarterbacks and whatnot. You have to be light on your feet. You have to be quick. You have to be agile. And it's interesting that he says, people within the Oregon program agreed. So I just find it a little strange how all this stuff is coming out kind of in a flurry. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. If the Jets take Kayvon Thibodeaux at 4, I'm going to be excited. I am. I still really, really like Kayvon as a prospect. I think he would bring a lot to this Jets team. He would be coming in at a massive position of need, a very important position. I would go as far as to say it's probably the most important position on this style of scheme. You got to get after the quarterback. You've got to get in the backfield with your front 4 linemen. You have to. These blitzes aren't coming like crazy. You're not sending these linebackers off the edge left and right all game. We're not like a Rex Ryan defense. We're not like a Todd Bowles defense. You got to be able to get the job done with your 4 down linemen. And if you can't do that, if you can't generate the pressure, quarterbacks are just going to sit back there and pick you apart all day. And we kind of saw that last year. Now, Vinny Curry was hurt all year. Carl Lawson was hurt all season. We do have Lawson coming back. We did add Jacob Martin from the Houston Texans. I really like that signing, but I can't count on Martin to go out and snag 12 sacks, 11 sacks, 10 sacks. Could it happen? Sure. Is it likely? Probably not. Okay, Carl Lawson, on the other hand, I'm expecting a big season, but there's still that injury question mark. Is he going to look like the same player? Will he get hurt again? There are a couple drawbacks with Carl Lawson, but he's coming back and is instantly going to be the best edge rusher on the team. Okay, so we're looking at the other side. Is Martin going to be a full-time starter, or is he going to be a rotational depth piece? I would probably lean in the favor of rotational depth piece. So I think Kayvon makes a lot of sense for the Jets at spot number 4. I think he makes a lot of sense for a lot of these teams, but specifically the Jets and the Giants. And funny enough, the Jets are picking 4 and the Giants are picking 5. So and the Giants, by the way, have 2 top 10 picks, 5 and 7. So I don't think Carolina is going to be in play. I could see maybe Atlanta taking a swing because they could use that pass rusher off the edge big time. I think he also fits that Dean Pease system pretty well as that outside stand-up rusher. But man, I think if the Jets pass on Thibodeaux at 4 and they hope to get him at 10, I just think that's a risky move. So I guess my advice would be, if Joe Douglas, if this coaching staff, if this front office feels like Kayvon is the guy, I think you got to take him at 4. If he's there, of course. Maybe the Lions take him at 2. Maybe the Texans take him at 3. Who knows? With this crazy offseason, I feel like anything could happen. Maybe Jacksonville takes him at 1. But I just don't see Thibodeaux falling to 10. If he does, absolutely incredible. Let's pull the trigger. Let's take him at spot number 10. Let's do it. No questions asked. And that's assuming that we obviously don't take an edge rusher at pick number 4. So you're, essentially thinking about a Gardner at 4, an offensive lineman at 4, Evan Neal, Charles Cross, Ike Mekwonu. Evan Neal, by the way, much like Kayvon Thibodeaux, fell in Jeremiah's rankings. So, and Ike Mekwonu is, I think, spot number 2. So, does Jeremiah know something that we don't, right? That the outside, that the public don't know right now? Is he just ahead of the curve here? I'm not sure. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Where do you stand on Kayvon Thibodeaux? Are you in? Are you out? Do you like him at 4? Do you like him at 10? It should be a crazy debate, crazy discussion, and I cannot wait to dive into the comments. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.